This is the weirdest balisong I've ever flipped, and that would be the NRB Ultralight. This is not mine, I do not own this, I'm just doing a middleman for somebody who didn't want to ship to Canada, and I am rather not experienced, but I've shipped to Canada a handful of times, so I'm kind of used to it. But this thing is very odd. I've had it for a few days, and it's weird, okay? To put it into perspective, you know, most aluminum balisongs hover around the 4 to 4.5 ounce range. The Mako's 4.2, Kraken 4.1, I believe. The Prisma's a little lighter, I believe. The Prisma is one of the lighter than 4 ounce balisongs. I don't know exactly how much it is. Maybe it's 3.8, I think. The Nautilus is 3.8. Now, most plastic balisongs hover around the 2.5 ounce range, I think, I want to say. Squiddies are about 2.5, the tape flippers are about 2.5 ounces. Now you'll notice there's quite a big gap there between a 4 ounce balisong and a 2.5 ounce balisong. This is aluminum handles, steel blade, and this weighs as much as a squiddy does. This is 2.7 almost ounces. I believe it's 2.67. I think that's the official number. It is just under 2.7 ounces, which puts it very close to the weight of some plastic balisongs. Even lighter than some plastic balisongs, if you consider some of the less popular models out there. But this thing is very, very light, and it is very odd because of that. Whoa, geez. You can see I'm having a little bit of trouble with it, because it's hard to get used to, but the Ultralight is a weird, boundary-breaking, very interesting experiment that I think went relatively well. This is the problem with the Ultralight, though, is that, well, I want to first talk about, at first, when you pick this thing up, it does not feel real. That's the best way I can put it. Something about it just feels like it technically exists, but it's not what you would expect. When you pick it up, you know, you would think it'd be heavier, you'd think it would feel like a 3 ounce, like it'd be light, but you could still definitely tell that it's metal. This thing just feels like air. On top of the very little material that's there, on top of the very neutral balance, which this thing does have. It has a great neutral balance. I am more of a handle bias guy, but if you like neutral, then you'd probably like this. It makes it just float in a weird way that's like, at first, it feels like you're putting in too much effort, so it kind of flies out of your hands a little bit. But once you relax a little bit, I'm sorry for the dogs, once you relax a little bit and understand that you really don't have to put in much effort to flip this thing, you get a lot more comfortable with it and it becomes a lot more natural to you. So, this thing is very odd. And do I like it? The answer is yes, I do like it. It is no secret that I am a huge fan of plastic balisongs. I own plenty of them. I am sponsored by Tape Flipper as well. So, of course, I like plastic knives. I think that they're cool, I think that they're fun, I think they're very easy on the hands, and that's mostly why I do like them, is because there's definitely some times I've been flipping, you know, my Medusa for a couple hours throughout the day, and that thing is titanium. It's not super heavy, but it's definitely got some heft to it. It's titanium, it's sharp, it's menacing, you know, all the above adjectives to describe the beautiful Medusa. And sometimes I just want to relax. I still want to flip, but I want something easy to flip. I want something super simple that's not going to put any stress on my hands. My hands are not going to get tired. It's going to be super comfortable and super easy to flip. And that's when I gravitate towards my plastic knives, my plastic balisongs, my plastic trainers, rather. And that is where the Ultralight comes in, because you get the flipping experience of a plastic trainer. You get the effortlessness, the comfortability, the lightness, the not straining your hands after flipping for half an hour that some heavier knives get you. But you get it all in a package that has all of the benefits of a metal balisong. You have good durability because these are 70-75 aluminum handles. pretty good durability on these. You have I believe it's 416 hardened something blade. I'm not entirely sure, but it is very durable. It's more durable than 440C, which is a pretty good blade steel. That's what they use in the Arctics. So it's more durable than that. So for trainers, it's a pretty durable blade. You get the tolerances of well-tuned bushings. One of the problems with the squiddies, and most plastic balisongs actually, is that they bind. Over time, especially the squiddies, are bad with binding. If you give it a few drops, stuff starts to deform a little bit, you tighten it too tight one time, and now the plastic's bent, you're gonna get binding, your swing's gonna get messed up. There's just a lot of tuning problems that come with the plastic balisongs, especially the squiddies. Now, on this guy, you don't have that, because you have the tuning of an aluminum bushing balisong, which, as we know, is great. There's really, if it's well tuned, there's no tap issues, very, very little play, and it swings beautifully. So you get the benefits of plastic balisongs, but also the benefits of metal balisongs. So, what are the downsides to this? The downside really comes in the factor of if you like plastic balisongs or not, because the weight of plastic balisongs and the weight of the ultralight is definitely something to get used to. If it's not something you're familiar with, you know, some people just don't like it. Some people just like, well, I cannot backhand fan. Some people just don't like it, and that's completely fine. Excuse me. Personally, I do really like it. I like that effortlessness. I like that, hey, I'm bored, I don't want to tear up my hands and make my hands sore, but I do still want to flip something. I think that is the perfect use case for a knife like this, and also for plastic balisongs as well. But some people just don't like it. I know plenty of people who just don't like plastic trainers because of the weight. And that's fine. You know, it is what it is, not everyone's going to like it. However, if you do like plastic trainers, I would definitely say the ultralight is something you should at least try, because this is, like I've said, all the benefits of a light plastic trainer, but also with all the benefits of an aluminum trainer. It's just the weight resembles more of a plastic trainer. And I feel like this is one of the, well, it is quite literally the only fully aluminum and stainless steel balisong, fully metal balisong, that has accomplished this. Because the next closest thing I can think of is maybe the Nautilus or the Prisma at 3.8 or 3.6, somewhere around there. And that's not even close to the 2.67 ounces that this thing is. It's a whole ounce lighter, and that ounce really makes a difference when you're dealing with this low of weight. Honestly, when you're dealing with balisongs in general, that ounce really makes a difference. The difference between a 4-ounce knife and a 5-ounce knife is very big. You will notice it immediately. In the same way the difference between a 2-ounce knife and a 3-ounce knife is. You do notice immediately. And I want to talk about NRB's fit and finish on this, because I believe the Ultralight is currently his latest model that we actually have physical prototypes for. And NRB, this is definitely his best fit and finished model. And I say that not because of the flipping experience, not because of, mainly not because of the flipping experience, the weight, the balance, anything like that. Purely from a machining and assembly perspective, this is definitely the best work he's done. The handles are very, very nice and smoothly rounded. We know on the Koenig, I used to have a lot of issues with the corners being not rounded enough, so they feel just super blocky. The Ultralight is very well rounded. It feels very smooth, very nice. All the edges are nice and smooth. The texturing on this is awesome. One of the better aluminum texturings we have is NRB's like knurling texture. This and the Koenig V2 are freaking awesome. I love those. Another thing, the Zen nipple. I think I've talked about it plenty of times before, but NRB's Zen nipples have always pinched me really bad. I have gotten some gnarly pinches. Even the little bit I had with the Koenig V2 and the Nemesis V2 as well, that thing pinched me pretty bad when I went over to Ethan's and tried it. And then I had the original Koenig before, that thing also pinched me really bad. NRB's Zen nipples have always been very, very sharp. However, on the Ultralight, and I'm assuming on the new Somewhat Light, I think it's called, the S Light, that is the titanium version of this, it is a lot better, a lot smoother. So overall, oh, and also the chamfering on the spine of the blade is very nice. I believe that's on other models as well, but it's just another little thing I figured I'd throw in there. So fit and finish-wise, NRB is doing great with this. And tuning-wise, NRB has pretty good tunes. They are never, like, the best in the industry, I will say that, but that's not his goal. NRB very much has the mindset of it can have play as long as it doesn't have tap, and most of his knives I've gotten, they just don't have tap to them. They got a little bit of play, you know, they're not like machine-wise level tolerances. It's got a little bit of play, but it doesn't tap, so that's fine. That's all dandy. As long as it doesn't tap, you're good. No damage to the knife. In terms of, and I say damage to the knife, tap isn't really that bad, but if the tap is very aggressive, you can have some blade rub issues and some scratching on the inside of the handles. But in reality, it's fairly well tuned. Most of NRB's stuff is decently well tuned. Like I said, it's not like industry-leading tuning, but it's usually pretty solid. I usually don't have many problems with NRB's tuning, and if anything, he's usually pretty good at fixing the tuning if you have issues with it. So that was not tap, that was just the handles wobbling. See, there's no tap on here. But yeah, one thing I do really like about this is the roundness of the handles. As you can see here, the handles are rounded on the top and bottom. I like that a lot. That's on the Ultralight, and also the Vortexes have rounded handles. I like those. I like a bit of both. I like to have some in my collection that are squared and some that are rounded. I'm not going to necessarily say that squared or rounded handles are better, because I feel like rounded handles are more comfortable, but square handles give you more control. So, yeah. The NRB Ultralight is so weird, because at first doesn't feel real, then you get used to it and you're like, huh, this is actually kind of nice, and I kind of like it. And I judge how much I like knives. Of course, I can always say, oh, it's good, I like it. But at the end of the day, how I see how much I really like a knife is when I put it down, right, and I go do something else. And it really comes down to how much do I find myself wanting to pick it back up. There are plenty of knives that I get, I'm like, oh, this is awesome, I love it. I set it down, I just don't care to pick it up again. I'm just uninterested. I just have other things I'd rather pick up. I'm just completely unbothered. Now with the Ultralight, this thing is so unique and has so many benefits to me as a flipper that after I set it down, I find myself thinking, kind of want to flip the Ultralight right now. It's one of the knives that gives me that urge to flip it. If I'm sitting at my desk and I'm not doing anything, one of the knives I would gravitate towards is going to be the Ultralight. And even though it's very weird, even though it's very odd and unusual, that shows you that I do actually like it. I can bring up all these weird cons and these weird, like, interesting things you need to know about it, but at the end of the day, I actively want to pick this thing up and flip it. If I'm sitting there and I'm like, or even it was earlier while I was at work, I was like, man, I wish I would have brought the Ultralight with me. I want to flip it right now. Like, I actively want to flip this thing. And that is how you know I do like the knife. That is how you know it is a cool, unique item that's actually good and actually fun. So yes, I do like the Ultralight. Is it for everyone? No, definitely not. Is it a very cool product? Yes, definitely. If you like plastic trainers, for the reason of you like the weight, you like the ease of flipping a plastic trainer, it doesn't hurt your hands at all, but you also want the tuning and the tolerances and the general durability of a nice 7075 aluminum balisong, get an Ultralight. They are really, really cool, and I find myself really wanting to pick this thing up. So, a huge, huge thank you to Ryoji for, I was doing the middleman for him. It goes from him to me, and then it goes to Tay up in Canada. So I think it's Ryoji K _ I think that's his Instagram name. I'll probably put it in the description if I remember to. But yeah, thank you for, I guess, letting me do the middleman, because now I get to try this thing. It is definitely weird, and it's weird, but it's still good. So if you like plastic trainers, you like the weight, you like the flippability, you like the fun nature of lower weight, I'm still really bad at that, lower weight plastic trainers, try an ultralight. Definitely see if you can get your hands on one. I believe they are coming into production soon, or the pre-orders are getting sent out soon. I think they're not too far along, or they're not too far away, sorry. So yeah, try and get your hands on one of these if you're into that kind of stuff. Of course, it's not for everybody, but it is going to be awesome for some people, such as myself. Only thing I personally wish is that there was a little bit more of a handle bias to it. That's just what I prefer in flipping. I'm not a big neutral guy, more of a handle bias guy, but that is okay. That is not everyone's preference. I think going neutral is probably the better way to go, because most people like neutral profiles. But yeah, that's just what I would like to see from it. But yeah, Ultralight is very cool. It's very unique, very fun. NRB, good job, interesting product. Love to see it. I love to see people doing new things. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you all again very soon. Peace out.